FilmStruggles is an experience-based podcast where we ask all the questions an early filmmaker would make.
With a new guest every week, from experts to people that are starting just like us.
We cover different topics like motivation, work balance, networking, and so much more.
We discuss what to do, what not to do, and how to turn struggles into action.
I am Claudia.
And I am Gabriel. Welcome to FilmStruggles. Meeting new people is a key element of the film industry, but putting yourself out there and networking is way easier said than done. On this new episode of FilmStruggles, we're talking about networking, expanding your contacts, and leaving your mark. All that by still being true to yourself.
Our special guest for this week is the multi-talented Mayumi Yoshida, a Japanese actor, writer, director, voice actor, and Japanese dialect coach. Mayumi has been a leading force in emerging Asian Canadian cinema, with shorts like Tokyo Lovers and her directional debut in Akashi. Currently, she's developing her first feature and sat down with us to talk about a little bit of her experience navigating the industry and the networking universe.
Just to start the episode by itself, I just wanted to say, I really hate networking because I feel like it's not natural. And this is something that I noticed right after film school, because in film school, because of the whole universe, like the safe environment and everything, I did networking without noticing that I was doing networking. Mm-hmm. Because it was very natural and just like talking to people. Oh, I need this for my project. Do you need that? Maybe we can trade and help each other. But then in the real life, I feel like if I go to an event with the mindset of like, I need to talk to this and this and this person so I can open this door and then I can get to do this. This kind of takes the natural aspect of it.
Yeah.
And that's when anxiety enters.
Yeah, totally.
So I just wanted to hear from you, like, what are your experiences networking and anxiety and how natural it feels for you?
It's not natural at all. It's really... Well, I think if you think of it as networking, it's hard. It's intimidating, especially when you're starting out. Like, you feel like you don't know a lot of people. You feel like, will they be interested in me? And like, they haven't seen my work, so they don't really know who I am. Like, there's a lot to fill in. You feel like there's a huge gap between you and other people.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. It's very, I think and some people are really good at it, and almost sometimes too good at it. But I think, but I realized that, because I was on the same boat as you. I was, I still kind of am. Like, it's quite taxing. Like, it's pretty tiring to do this, like, it's like the parties and going to the screenings and but I think as soon as as soon as I got to know the people, a lot of these things started not becoming networking. It became more of like, we get to see each other in those events now because you know them. Getting to know them was pretty hard, but for me, it did help that my film was online. When it first came out, Akashi was like, immediately it premiered online because of Story Hive. And Story Hive sort of helped me create that community without me even trying. Like, being part of the roster of the Story Hive films, everybody's watching, okay, what's the next films that they just pumped out? So and then it helped also that we won grand prize. Now everybody's like, oh, well, which won grand prize? And then, so I was sort of lucky that way that and because I think my face is on the screen too. They would identify me quite easily. It's like, you're that person.
I've seen you before.
I know, I still get many times I still get that, I know you, we met. And I'm like, we've never met.
But you haven't seen my face.
We've never met, but you've seen my face. This is very lovely. Thank you so much. But it's so that was definitely easier when when your work is speaking for you.
Yeah.
It's it's just another thing you don't have to talk about, because it's you also don't want to like be like, hi, I'm this and I'm doing this and that and like, it's hard to be your spokesperson. Some people are really good at it. Some people aren't. I'm not as I don't think I'm as good. I just feel sometimes that's not genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And but knowing a lot of the people that are working in the industry, and now that I'm sort of in that community, I talk with other people too about um, like ingenuous people who are, when you talk to people who aren't that genuine,
Uh-huh.
we talk about it. It's like, that was weird, or like,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
it's like, that was
Yeah.
awkward, or like, do you know that person? I don't
Uh-huh.
know that person.
That's the thing that I'm super scared
Yeah,
of
totally.
being that person. Like sometimes I feel like Gabriel said that I put all this pressure on myself. Like if I'm coming to this event, I need to make at least one valuable connection. And then the way you approach someone, somehow I feel, maybe I'm not, but this is at least how I feel, that I'm coming across like I don't know, like very, I don't know, like annoying, or
Or
like too,
pushy.
or too
You don't
pushy.
want,
Like,
yeah,
look my work.
needy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh
yeah.
huh. Uh huh. How to avoid that? Like, maybe that's only a thing that it's in your mind. Maybe you're not coming across like that, but it's very easy, like you said, because I've been on the other side, like saying, "Who was that
I,
guy?" Like,
yeah. I'm totally on the same boat when I'm
uh
going
huh.
in people where I have no idea who all these people are.
Mhm.
But I think the best way is always, I mean, it's the same as dating. You just like, you don't, the more honest you are, the more
Mhm.
open you are, the more they will, so their guard will come down.
Yeah.
And the more you're curious about the other person, then the more you're listening,
Yeah.
or they'll feel like, oh, I want to get to know this person
Uh
now,
huh.
like rather
Mhm.
than like, here's all my pitches, I'm gonna give it to you in 5 seconds.
Uh-huh.
And there are people
Yeah.
like that, and
Yeah.
it's like, whew,
Uh
good
huh.
for you, but it's like, I don't know if I can stay with you for like 15 minutes. It's
Uh
a lot,
huh.
you know.
Yeah.
Any of the working relationships that, so when the people that I've met at events, any sort of festival or party or whatever, the people that I've met and then went on working together on a set or something, it always was, we met through a mutual contact, or we met randomly at that
Mm.
party, and then
Mhm.
we connected through a random thing, and now it's like, okay, I really like you as a person. I want
Mhm.
to, can we work together? That was
Uh huh.
great, you know?
Uh huh.
Because you're always, you don't, the big thing, I think, you don't want to work with assholes or jerks, and like,
Mhm.
don't want to have a diva. Like, you don't always want to be working with someone you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, and there's a lot of different kinds of people in the film industry, and that you just kind of have to like, it's kind of like dating. You just
Mhm.
open yourself up, and I know at the beginning it feels intimidating, and I was avoiding at the beginning of my career to feel like safe, and I was like,
Yeah.
all those parties, ew. Why do they go? It's
Yeah.
just visiting each other, like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly, I think, where we are right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it's gross, but but then when you get to know them, you realize that majority of them really care about movie, really
Mhm.
care about the same thing that you care about.
Mhm.
And at least half of them, I feel like they're looking for someone to work with and expanding their community.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And at least 1/3 of them are like willing to like give a chance to people who are new, or like they're really excited by
Mhm.
finding new talent. I'm one of those. I'm so excited when I find someone who is just came out of film school and really passionate and is like,
Mhm.
don't know how to navigate. And I'm like, come here, I will introduce you to everybody. But it's always, but that initial contact is, let's say, hi, Mayumi, I saw Akashi, and uh, I know this is probably, I don't know, some of the things that I've heard, which really stayed with me, is this was what I got from the film. And my grandmother went through this, and
Mm.
grandma, or was like this. And then I feel like, oh, wow, this is like, thank you for sharing me that personal
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
I'm instantly like connected to you
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
through you revealing who you are to me, and then
Yeah.
being interested in my work, and that's an honor to me. And now I'm
Mhm.
curious, like, where are you at your career right now? What do you
Yeah.
need?
Uh huh.
What how can I help you? And there's a lot of people here. How can I connect you with? Because I love doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been lucky enough to meet people who are like that too, who would see me and realize that like, oh, she's an emerging talent and she needs to probably be connected with these people.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like anytime you're genuinely telling them that like, yeah, this is really hard. This networking is hard, but I also realize that I want my career to be part of this community. So I need to show up, and showing up like part of the job. It's that's what I learned, that because I didn't show up, I didn't really understand why these people were working together many times and why it's continuously these people who are making the films. And I was like, but then the moment I started showing up, I realized how like, oh, this is how it works. I mean, it's like there's definitely that level of business interactions, and but there's also this support system within the community that like we acknowledge how talented this person is and that person is, and we all want to work together and help each other out, because Canada's still, I mean, Vancouver is still a very small town.
It is.
So,
Everyone knows everyone.
Everybody. So it's the moment you really get to know them, it really does change a lot of your career, because but it's hard. It is hard to just break through. But the biggest favor you could do for yourself is to show up. And then I know it's scary, but the people who are there they all care about movies. You can all, if you saw the latest, I don't know, Christopher Nolan movie, and then you can talk about that. And he's like, I actually don't know what you do. What do you do? I'm actually a DP on this. I was like, oh, no way. I had no idea. So did the film that you made? No, not this time, but like, I just graduated. And it's like, oh, okay. Where are you from? So, oh, I'm from Brazil. Oh my God, you should meet this person. That's how it goes. Once you show up, that's how easy it happens. So.
No, it's really nice that you said that about showing up, because I really resonate with that. Because we have a saying in Brazil that the translation from Portuguese to English would be something kind of like, who is not seen is not remembered. So like you have to put yourself out there. And this is something that I still struggle a little bit. Like you need to make sure that people are seeing you, or at least that you are in the same locations that they are, or you're going to these events. And it's hard because showing up is something. Showing up with the purpose of like open chest for the opportunities and the experiences is very hard.
It is. And I think it's hard when you have an agenda, because and sometimes people can smell that agenda. So you might not really, I think really just open yourself up to being curious of like, what kind of movie are you going to see? And if it really stuck with you, like go talk to that person. How did they make it happen? And who open yourself up to like where you're at, because the best part of being a recently graduated film school filmmaker is like there's a huge advantage that the word emerging is such a great it's such a great way to like push you into so many rooms. And especially what's helped me, which weirdly before I thought that it was something that is hindering, but it's helped me more to own my identity as a Japanese filmmaker. Before I just felt like I need to blend in. I need to like, why am I not white? Like, I felt that way. And I mean, still sometimes I feel that way, but not as much. And by owning my heritage through my work and also just myself, it definitely like expanded my work, and also people's curiosity level for me. I think it was easier for them to place me in a way.
Okay.
Like, who are you? What do you do? It's like, oh, okay. So let's say I've gotten so many emails after being a filmmaker that like, oh, so this person's looking for a Japanese filmmaker. This person's looking for a Japanese writer. And because I would say that I'm that, they'd be like, oh, ding, Mayumi.
Yeah.
So that's another thing of like showing up is being physically present, but also you showcasing yourself in a way that like that's not like handing out cows everywhere.
like everyone is.
Yeah,
Like try to find something that I don't know, like somehow
something
stands,
authentic to you.
to take it out from the rest or something, so you can
Yeah,
make a memorable impression into someone.
but the key is you being you is the most unique thing ever. Whether you come from Brazil or Mexico, wherever, anywhere you're from, even if you're from, I don't know, Saskatchewan, Regina, wherever in Canada, you being you is the most unique thing ever. And that goes with writing, directing, acting, it overall, everything. It's always, we always feel like we're not enough, and then we, compensate. But actually, that's the most authentic, genuine thing, and everybody's drawn to authenticity.
I really like how you say that kind of networking. It's kind of like dating. And now that now that you say that, sometimes I don't know. Like I wonder how these dating process goes. Like you won't ask or you won't talk with on the first date like I want to marry and have 3 kids and all that stuff. So I don't know, is there like kind of like a similar process when we are networking, so you go from the first time you meet them and then how to transition to the second or the third, and don't go right away to here are all my pitches, and then actually build a valuable connection?
Yeah, so let's say if this was dating, and if I am the person who is like gonna pitch you everything and say what kind of shows I want to create and blah blah blah, it's almost like saying I have a Ferrari, I have this home, I have this, and I have these projects, and I have this many stocks. Okay, you want to go on a date with me? And it's like, who are you? Is the most important thing. So I think first getting to know the other person, like it's such a turnoff when that person is not listening to you at all. And they're always like throwing their agenda to you. And you're like, oh, I don't know if I can be around you. Because you're actually more interested in yourself than me. So but that's just like a human level. You just want to be around people who is just not so self-involved. So but because you feel like you need to make an impression, you feel like you have to do all these things. But again, actually it's the opposite. The more you have it in your pocket, all these projects and like the pitches that you have it in your pocket, but there's like the right place and time to do that.
Okay.
So
it's really not right away.
If they ask for it, go for it. But nobody really asks for it right away, especially at a party or like an event after post screening. If they're specifically asking like, so what are you working on right now? And you can talk about, oh yeah, I have this, but the key is to like just give a little bit and then gauge their curiosity, because if you lay the whole thing, it's like, wow, that's crazy, but then it's like awesome.
Like where do you go from there?
It goes back to the dating thing where you're like, this is everything. Okay, take me to me, and you're just like, whoa, this is heavy. Calm down, let's just get to know each other. Let's
go for coffee, and then
what kind of coffee you drink. See if you want to sit by the window or by the couch. Like, I don't know. It's just it's all, nothing ever happens in that one place. Like sometimes people, it unless it's like literally a pitch where you're going then go like straight to the chase. You gotta if you have a 5-minute meeting with an executive, then 100% all they want to hear about is your project. Don't talk about the weather. Of course. I was like, so how did you get here today? Like, they need to know that. They just want to know, like, okay, so what do you have for me? And it's like, right, so I have a period drama about this.
And then you go,
Yeah, but even so, when you're doing that, when you add a personal touch, it's just so memorable. Because then it's like, oh yeah, I remember this Japanese girl pitched this project to me, and it was like a period piece, and it had something to do with her grandma, and it made me think about my grandma. And then it's like, you don't just remember, like, it was like a psycho thriller, like it was like,
Yeah.
the more you make it personal, and I realized that through just going through a lot of events, but also just putting yourself out there and failing to make an impression, or like, I didn't talk to anyone, I was just standing there. That was so miserable. I've had those days, and I was like, I'm never going there again. But then I realized that, like, I probably didn't put an effort to really connect.
Yeah.
And again, just like dating, you need to put an effort to connect with someone. You need to, it is, as much as it's scary sometimes, you go up to them and say, hey, I loved your work, and ask them questions if you have some. It doesn't even have to be a question about the actual work that they did. It could just be about, like, how's it been for you? Like, I'm kind of figuring out myself. Boom.
Exactly.
Everybody's like, oh, well, let me tell you, it's something like that you're opening up to them, which makes us feel like there's a conversation to be had.
Yeah, and for example, now that you're talking about building this connection and going there, like I've been into this position. So for example, that I don't know, like I have this connection, but I haven't talked to them, I don't know, like let's say in 6 months. I feel weird to reach to them after like maybe a long period of time. But at the same time, I'm like, why would I approach to them before, if I feel I don't have anything to offer? Like I always feel like I have to be able to give or talk about something that either I'm doing or I'm planning, and I want their advice, so I stay in their radar. I don't know how to, once you meet someone, and of course you don't go full into saying this is everything that I have, but you have that connection. How do you stay present, maybe? Or
I mean, I think everybody knows that, like, relationship comes and goes, especially with so many people in this industry. It's hard to maintain. There's only a handful of people you can manage to, like, stay connected every single day, or even like a month, So, but everybody understands that, and we all get it. Again, it's when you show up to these events, or like to now it's like a Zoom event or something. Even that little interaction will just makes us realize that, like, oh, they're still in, they're good, they're showing up. And then you just feel like, oh, it just sort of feels like you're part of the community now. That I totally get the anxiety of, like, when do I message them again, when I said I'll do that and then I didn't, and then
it's over.
Like, yeah, I have many contacts like that. But the timing the right project or the right something will come, and then that's when you connect with them. And if they were specifically asking for something and then you didn't have that at that time, and then later on, if that comes up, you can say that, like, hey, by the way, we talked this time, and I know it's been a while, but the thing that I was talking about, it's completed. Do you mind having a look at it and giving me feedback? Or if you don't mind taking a look at it, and then I think, or even if it's the script, do you mind having a read, and then I'd love your notes if that's possible. Or something like that is, like, it's very common.
Okay.
Where you just kind of message them out of nowhere and then ask for feedback, or because then they feel like they're valued, and also and even if time doesn't allow, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so swamped, I can't do this right now, but thanks for reaching out to me, and let's keep in touch. Check.
Yeah, because there's that, like, stay in touch but not too much, and I was like, okay, but what is too much? Of course I'm not gonna email him every day, like, have you watched this, and then that's it. But
there's no like rule for it. It's you just kind of have to gauge it. But
Yeah.
I'd say the most important thing is like have stuff going on for yourself. Like or do the work that is in front of you, whether that's writing, editing, actually going to a shoot or helping out other people. That's helping out other people's shoot is like one of the best ways to just keep connected with everybody, because you're instantly put into like 20-30 people, and you're like, oh, and then even on set, if you connect with them and talk with them, they knew someone, or like they worked with this other person, and then they're like, oh, I actually worked with Andrew before. It's like, oh, no way, I just met him last week, he was awesome.
Yeah.
The message to Andrew and I say, hey, I was just on set with this person, I heard you guys work together, hope you're doing great, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just so that's like, just to let them know that they were on your mind, and then be like, oh yeah, they were great, what shoot were you on? It's like, oh, I was helping out this person. It's like, oh, I'm actually planning to do this, I didn't know you do that part, do you want to come help us?
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's another way to sort of, you don't just connect to pitch a job, or like to be like, hey, hire me. You just sort of connect the dots and say, hey, and then they're like, oh, hi. I think that's the most subtle and easy and stress-free way to sort of stay connected. It's helped me with social media, has kind of helped me stay connected with a lot, because there's a lot of people, but I would post like my work on social media, and they'll be like, oh, great, you did that. I don't have to message those 200 something people. I mean, I'll message the certain people that I do want feedback, or I want to like really watch it. But the great thing, I guess, for social media is that you're kind of just letting it go in public, and then whoever catches it. So you might not know, but you are actually under their radar. So that's really helped me. But I also understand that people don't like to do social media, and that's okay. It's just I find it very useful.
Yeah.
How has social media worked for you, like in networking speaking, like having a constantly refeeding your Instagram, or having your own personal website, like things that how does that work for you?
It's gradually shifted. I think before it was more for like myself and just for fun. And I think Facebook is still sort of, I have a lot of my friends in Japan, and my relatives, and everybody's in Japan. So Facebook and Instagram is almost the only way to keep them updated on what I'm doing. So that's why I'm still very active on both, especially on Facebook, I think. But it's also like a great way for people to just instantly check out my work. So mostly very official work-related things, I put it on my Facebook page, and things that are more like my personal point of views, or like a message to people, or something that's a news article I want to share personally, I would post it on my personal Facebook. And then for my website, it's just linked to my social media, so I don't really have to do as much. But website it does help to compile everything from like the works that I've done in theater and film and TV. So people can just look at it and be like, oh, okay, because it does feel more professional when you have a website. Somehow they do still ask for it. So I never check people's website, but they do ask for it, and it is still on my business card. I did, and then Instagram is like, before, again, it was more like Facebook, where I would post personal stuff. But again, that's different. Everybody's different. Some people, and some people are really active on Twitter. I'm active on Twitter, but I like it because I get to connect with my friends in LA, and a lot of industry people there. I think it's a lot more active in the States. Like people in the States tweet a lot. It is a great source for like industry related news, and so that's really and then as a writer, the writing community on Twitter is like, it's quite phenomenal. They're
Wow.
so supportive, and a lot of readers from my feature film I've gotten through like just random people I met on Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, they're so supportive, and the resources they give out, like we're going to give out free story editing session if you like, you know, or like we're going to give out final draft to this many people, or writers will have like their own thread of advices in writing TV pilots or features, sharing their struggles. Like it's really inspired me to feel like, because writing is it's such a lonely act.
Yeah.
So I felt so connected through many people through Twitter, which is very odd, but it's yeah. So every platform I have like a weird way of like using it. But I feel like it's helped me, because I don't really have to talk so much about like the project as much, because I usually do it on my social media. On the day when I see them, I can be like, I can talk about how much I love Beyonce and Celine Dion. But that's what I want to talk about, rather than like, how did you get? I mean, it's exciting to talk about industry, but you also kind of get tired of that.
Okay.
So it's like, oh man, I went to this concert. It's like, oh, who's that artist? Oh, I've never heard of that. Okay, I'll check it out. Like that's more personal, and you know.
Especially coming from like a writer's or director's perspective, or even actors as well, you have to live in order to create the stories that you're going to create, right? So you need to at some point talk about other things outside the industry and outside the set life and the 12 hours, just to get the material, so then you can go back to the film universe and do it all over again.
Yeah, that's why I think balancing networking and also your own time as an artist is really important, because if you're doing so much networking and you're not spending enough time to really nurture yourself as an artist, it's very stressful.
Yeah.
So, you need to it's hard at the beginning. I'm still sometimes struggling, but you realize that like, I think I'm going to stay in and just watch a really good movie tonight.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's okay if you don't want to engage that night. You just need to always have a conversation with yourself. But always start with genuine connection and authenticity, because that's more memorable than anything else. I met this colorist who is so good. He's like the best in town. And I had the honor of working with him through my DP in the short that I did. And then in the coloring session, like 1/3 of the time we were talking about Celine Dion. And then we met up at Whistler again, and we partied and we were dancing and we were like just going crazy. And then I was like, okay, this is so crazy, but would you like be down to go to like her concert in April? And she was like, yeah. And we were like, so it's like, you know, we don't, I know him, of course, his work is phenomenal, but I can know whenever I connect with him, I have an in-joke of like, yeah. And then he just come on board to work on a music video I did, and we had no money. So we were like, is that okay? I'm so sorry. But he was like, yeah, I want to hang with you. Let's do it. I was like, that's so nice. But it's, you know, that's how you build community. And hopefully once you have that budget, then you get to pay them. And then it's like, great.
Yeah.
Then you're nurturing your friends. You're not just sort of, you know, casually working with them, but you're also sort of raising each other up. And that's what community is.
Yeah.
I think if you're authentically coming in, and everybody will sense that energy. So, you know, if you're afraid, be honest that you're afraid, saying that like, I'm really intimidated. I don't know who to talk to. I'm standing here eating cheese.
That's the best way to break the ice.
And I'm like lactose intolerant. I shouldn't be doing this. And they'll be like, girl, you should not be doing that. Okay, who do you talk to? You know, it's just whatever. You just be yourself.
Yeah.
The more fun you'll have.
No, absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. We usually have the same final question to all the guests. because the name of the podcast is Film Struggles, we are very curious to know which one is your biggest film struggle.
I think there were a lot more demons in my head
Okay.
before, where I would downplay myself or down talk myself or not trust myself or feeling like I'm not enough and standing on the side eating cheese. I think there's a big part of me that said no for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I think, a lot of my struggles where I didn't, so I think, and of course, when you don't know a lot, it's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I know more. I mean, I do know a little bit more, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel more empowered because I have a lot of people around me who are also going through that and sharing these struggles, and a lot of people who are experienced who I think they're willing to help me,
Mm-hmm.
or I feel like I can talk to them, and and that came from like just admitting that like, okay, this is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like but talk to me when I'm starting my feature, because then I'll be like, life is hell.
Then a bunch of other struggles, biggest one will appear.
Yeah.
It'll be, because I feel like we're sort of in a weird, because of COVID, we're all sort of, we've had time to reflect and think about life and work, and at least I have. I've had the luxury to do that, to sort of, what do I want to do? When do I want to do this? And so that sort of cleared my mind a little bit. And I understand that there will for sure be struggles in the future, but it doesn't feel absolutely impossible. And even if it feels that right now, we'll figure it out. So back in the days when I didn't know that, it just feels like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What's the point? So yeah,
that's amazing. I feel like you saw through me right now.
Yeah. You're describing myself right now.
Oh, we're all the same. We're all going through the same thing. So
yeah. Thank you so much, Mayumi, for being part of this.
Thank you very much, Mayumi.
Thank you. Good luck with everything. And again, tell me if you need anything, okay?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mayumi. Have a good day.
Bye.
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 If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to give us a review and share this with someone you think might need it.
Also, share with us your favorite quote.
You can find more information about the podcast and our guests on the website FilmStruggles.com.
Remember to follow us at FilmStruggles on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Thank you for listening.
See you next week with a new guest
and a brand new struggle.
Film Struggles is hosted, produced, and edited by Claudia Hernandez Barragan and Gabriel Sousa Nunes.
Executive producer is Harrison Carranza and sound design by Sebastian Sagastumi.